Hello everyone, today is going to be a tutorial for how I make the effects on Premiere Pro. And this will be in the order that I've originally made them, with a couple like these two will be. Those were added in late. Here, I'm gonna put these headphones in to get a better recording of my voice. It'll help. Alright, there we go. Now they're hooked up. So we're going to start out with the very first effect that I've made. Not scary. In order to do this, ProCamp, which is this, has the hue adjustments, but you can use two inverts, a lightness or a luminance, and the RGB, which will completely invert the video. I'm going to turn this off, it'll be like that, and this, and those make it this. The mirror is at 180 degrees, 960, 960, or whatever your video ratio is.
Keep reading. Keep reading. That's a disappointment. Keep reading.
And left and changed and numbered.
And then for the waveform, we go, of course, sine waves, and
That's crazy, ain't it?
That's the type. The height would be 15. The wave width is 60. Direction 0.0. Wave speed is up to you, but I choose 3 for this one. Pinning non-phase 0, and anti-aliasing best quality is low. Next is G major 1. It's a pretty simple. Oh yeah, and for the pitch, you go to Audio Effects, or you can edit it in Premiere. In Audition if you have it, but if you don't, you can use Premiere Pro and you can go down to Pitch Shifter. What you'll do is, with all the effects, you'll drag them onto the video or audio clip. And for the pitch of Not Scary, you'll go down to -2 and -2 on the semitones and -50 on the synths to get it to sound accurate. For G major 1, the pitch is 8 with nothing else on there. And the invert, you can pick lightness or luminance, but I prefer lightness for this, and I'll explain why in just a bit. Next is Even X Discontinues. It's a little bit of a complicated one to make.
You feel like you had to soul tie something else?
No, not really.
Alright, in-phase chrominance and hue on.
3 years is crazy.
For this, though, ProCamp works too. That makes it look like the Louis Group hue. And there's 2 waveforms, and both will be set to sine 1580, 0, 2.0, and the rest is that. But then you'll do a twirl of an angle of -90 degrees, radius of 30, the twirl center is the center. And then you'll do it, but with a positive 90 degrees for the second wave. G major 5, it takes the red invert and the RGB invert. Hue works too, but I think hue works as well. No, hue doesn't make it like that. It makes the other thing. And the pitch for Even X Discontinues, that'll be -7.5. And for this, I have a pitch shifter on nothing with it not used, so it'll sync up the audio better than the others back when I first did it, and the other one will be at 4. Same case for this, except for G major 2, your invert will be blue, and you'll have a third pitch on there. You can unlink, at any time you can unlink video and audio clips. You can drag them down, and you can copy and paste stuff more. This is about the same as that, except you'll have a -5 pitch at the bottom as well. Then comes G major 7, one of my favorite effects. It's just simple as dragging on RGB, adding another pitch, and inverting, adding the +3. Primary group as well is another easy one. For this one I did Pro Camp and the 50 hue, and the hue to 50 degrees, which gets it more accurate for me. And the pitch, of course, is 1, and -1 for that, and minus 50 degrees on the hue for Pro Camp there. Eye on Live Dex, we're going to call it that so I don't get this video age restricted, despite me probably not having that happen anyway. Center of sphere, of course, is going to be in the middle, but for the radius on most of the bulge effects is 360. So that way it doesn't like make things too big. 360 I think fits pretty decently for some of these. And then for the hue, you'll go to 120.
Why wouldn't it be after him?
Minus 120. And the same will apply. The pitch will be +8. H major 200, another 0.5 pitch effect. This one at -3.5. And then wave warp, sine wave, just adjust it. For some of these you can just adjust it to however you like. For this source specifically, I did the sine wave, the wave height of 100, wave width of 900, direction of 270 degrees, and speed set to nothing, of course. G major by LTVMCA, I did tint green, map black to light green, and white to stay as white. Mount's tint is 100%, twirl to 90 degrees, and 30 for the radius. And the invert is, of course, RGB to get it to look like that. It does respond for what I did. I moved up the twirl just a slight bit to get it up there. LTVMCA, that'll require a -4 pitch, and does respond, that will require a -12. And then the hue is -50, just like with lead group, and even X discontinues. Then you'll have this to get that output. Now for refreshing equalizer, I do luminance. I personally prefer it, and then the pitch will also be -4. This next one, enhance with confusion, I don't think there's a reverse effect in Premiere. So you can go to Adobe Audition, or you can use Audacity, whatever reversing audio thing you can use, and just place the audio in there and reverse it. And luminance or lightness again would work. And then the mirror will be reflection center 960 is the center of the video, and the reflection angle at 0. I know this would be, think about half of it or something. And for lost effect, you'll either do RGB and lightness, or you can do the 180 there. But it's for 2 pitch shifters. The first one needs both to be modified to 12 and 4 respectively to get the 16, and this one just is -8, and the other one just for synchronizing purposes. Now for low voice and any other speed adjustment effect, of course, you know the drill with this and the mirror. But in order to do this, you go to speed duration, and you change the speed to, it's going to be 74.9, but it modified a little bit to that, and I'll pitch the audio down to, automatically down to around 5 decibels or whatever unit is. For my favorite effect, G major 19, you do mirror, invert RGB, channel lightness. And then for the RGB stuff, to make RGB BGR, you turn the red, which is at 100, to 0, and then do red to blue to 100, green stays, and blue-red will become 100, with blue being 0. G major 9, Same deal for G major 7, except there's a -2 pitch and not a +3. G major, this requires 6 pitches, all needing one pitch shifter effect placed on them. Pitches are as follows: 0, 4, -5, no, 0, 4, -5, -12, positive, +12. I can't talk today. 12, 7, 4, 0, -5, and -12 respectively. And the invert is, of course, self-explanatory. G major 48 is the same for G major 7, except for it's going to be the twirl at 60 degrees and 30 radius, and 120 degrees, -120 for the hue. And then for this I did 275% adjustments on the brightness and contrast. And the pitch of G major 6, that'll be -8 for the second one. Now for G major 115, the reflection angle will be 90 degrees. In the hue of 120, the pitches are 12, 8, and 4 respectively for G major 74, and also 137, which is coming up in a little bit. You do same deal with spear rise normal, and then the inverts. The pitches are going to require 2 apiece. One of them is a 14, then there's a 9 and a -10, which need that second one just to synchronize the audio better. Crying X. This is what I did for the sine wave on it. And then the hue is -120, with the invert being luminant. That's not what it needs to be. Here, let me do one quick re-rendering session. Because I made a little bit of an oopsie. Alright, let's just go ahead and let me type description, put it to Creative Commons, publicize it, let it upload, and step back. Save this so I don't make another mistake in the future, but no, the Crying X hue was not supposed to have -120 with the RGB inverts, but it was not. And and then the pitches are 0 and 5. 0 and -5. Then for bold 1, 2, 3 major is the pitch to be 3 and positive. And the hue will be 120, and the wave warp, the height, sine, all that. Does not respond. Is just inverting the hue and angle and changing one pitch to 12. Mirror and Other requires an overlay. First of like 2 effects that requires this. And the pitches are -8 and -7. This one is horizontally flipped and set to 50% of opacity. G major 16 is the same hue as Crying X and the one we're about to get to after Sad X, with the pitch being -3 there. And then here is the hue the wave warp that I used for this, and the other pitch on this will be -7. Now for G major 4, it looks more like the real G major 4 effect, as some people like to call it, where it's like kind of more inverted, solarized, if you will. And for it, you just invert RGB, multiply, pitch to 5. And for slow voice, this is 84.1 with the speed adjustments. Horizontal flip, mirror that, and the pitch will be set to -3 automatically after you speed. Now for enhanced with strawberry milk and enhanced with milk respectively, they require the color replace effect along with a hue change. The hue for strawberry milk is 120, and the one for strawberry milk you can do RGB. I was thinking LGBTQ. I support that community. We do RGB lightness, or you can do the hue of 180. For strawberry, the pitches are 16 and 4, and for milk, the pitches are 9 and 6. Strawberry milk requires the black to pink, and color replace will go to black to white. I think I applied it twice there, but I'm not sure if it really matters as much. Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. For haunt, you just go to either ProCamp with 0 saturation and invert RGB, or find a black and white effect and slow the clip down to 50%, which will in turn also pitch it down. For Pika Major, one of my favorite effects, the hue goes up to plus 27 and the saturation is full. The pitches are normal, 7, and minus 7. For Diamond Major, this is where I first discovered the power of ProCamp. Procedural amplification or something. ProCamp for short. The hue is plus 20 and the horizontal flip effect is applied, and this will be plus 2. Now for R Major 2002, Evil. VR color gradients just go to 1, auto VR properties 1, gradient power 0, gradient blend 100%, opacity at 100% as well, and blending to be the hue. The pitches are plus 2, minus 2, and minus 5. Now from Bust, 45 degrees, 1 relief, 100 contrast. The pitches is 12 and 5. Ooh gaga. It's as simple as just making a RGB to BGR and adding a plus 12. Same would apply for this, except you need a minus 120 hue for that. And this for green lowers and to pitch down to minus 12. RJ Kumar, G Major 14, RGB BGR, red, invert RGB as well. 8, 4, minus 1, minus 8. Now for any of the turbulent displace effects, this is my adjustments. Feel free to pause the video to see them if you need. ProCamp is at plus or minus 180. RGB to BGR applied. Same pitches as G Major 2, 0, 4, and minus 5. Devil's Blast and G Major 3 are pretty much the same. Turbulent displace, and then the pitches are minus 5, minus 12, and 0 and minus 6 respectively. Now for C Major, which is kind of difficult to make, the ProCamp is 80 for this one. The invert is RGB. The wave warp is, the first time is 30, 175. Everything else at 0. And wave warp for this second one, 30, 250, 90, and everything else at 0. Excuse me, this is the first one to have something other than a pitch change. The chorus flanger is on screen here, for those who want it. And the pitch shifter is up to positive 250. Now for sleep, hue at 90 degrees, inverted RGB, and then 35, 80, 90, that, and the pitches are minus 3, minus 6. Now for this, which is G Major 50, the pitches are 6 and 9, and all you need to do is invert RGB and RGB to BGR then. G major 18 is as simple as putting saturation at 200 and doubling and doing a -8 pitch out in addition to normal. And for G major 54, all you do is same thing for our major 2002, except you procamp 180 and invert RGB with pitches of 14.19, 10, and 5 respectively. For inverted effect, it's as simple as just RGB lightnessing or 180 on procamp and a pitch of -5. Okay, did I put it in there twice? Okay, now it doesn't need to be in there twice. Here, let me just... Alright, just... give me a minute. Okay, this is starting to get pretty infuriating. If I could just still... Oh, hang on, wait, I think I can do that, yeah. Okay, no need to highlight everything else. Alright, now we left off. Now I'm not going to save them until it's fully completely correct. Anyways, inverted effect we just did, so now we'll do leaf fall down, the pitch is +3. -3, I mean. And the hue is -50, horizontally flipped. And for G major 20, this is a split version. Pitches are 0 and -1. I did +50 to get the and split screen 50% with, and then in order to get that split effect and to cancel out this +50, I put another one that overlaid the whole thing and cancels out the 50 -50 and gives it the -50 on the left. And that's how that's done. Procamp at +50 for that. And then you just swap around the two twirls. And the pitch at 7.5 instead of -7.5. Whirly effect. 7820 invert, twirl at an angle of -60, 8 and 20 pitches respectively. For half Mary group, +25, and then for half Louis group, -25. And the pitches are +0.5 and -0.5 respectively. Horror effect 1.0, one of my favorites to make here. Needed a procamp of 0 brightness, 0 contrast, hue stays, and saturation at 200%, with the pitches being 0.5, -0.5, and -3.5. And now for this effect, RGB to BGR is simple enough. 180 that, mirror, 960 to 540, corner pin this, and then twirl this with the pitches of normal and +1. Loud ear bleep takes a twirl of 300 degrees, 25 radius, and a procamp of 180, and a pitch shifter to 16, and an amplify to 48 decibels on left and right to get that loudest effect. Z-Palace effect V3, spherize this, procamp the hue this time to 170, then pitch to 11, minus 11 that is. Leaf fall down, nope, no, field day I mean. 180, mirror, and 6 for the pitch. G major 74 is this pretty much the same thing, except with RGB as 137 is the same as 74, but with an RGB to BGR applied. Def effect, RGB BGR, invert, ProCamp to 216. And then for the horizontals flip, then spherize, 360, 540, 540, and mirror it with the pitches of plus 24 and plus 22. Because X deserves it, gets a 130 hue on ProCamp and a minus 7 pitch. U major has 6, 5, and 4 pitches with the TV effect, as well as a turbulent displace, and an RGB invert. G major twirl has luminance invert, 135, 25 on the twirl, and a pitch of minus 6. An overall pitch for 2 runes tree would be plus 6. No, plus 16 with the double pitch shifter. Spherize 360, ProCamp minus 120, and RGB to BGR. And the final effect is a kind of recreation of my friend's Cheesy's sharp effect. Sharpened something like that. And the pitches are minus 50 and minus 2.5. Minus 50 is minus 0.5, I mean. But yeah, you get the gist. We're going to export this. The complete collection, we're just going to replace it because that first attempt was pretty screwy. Due to the school workload, I did have to take a little bit of a break from using Premiere Pro for effects because I had stuff to do in this class. But now it's time for this to get uploaded. I'll make a description. The description will read, the entire collection of Premiere Pro effects that I've made over the course of August to December of 2024. We have 15 days left, and now we're going to get it uploaded and processing. This video is also made in case people didn't believe my usage of Premiere Pro. And I wanted to give everyone a tutorial on how to make everything so they can do it themselves too. That's all, and I'll see you later.